Hi, today we're going to talk about using the metric system. The first thing that I want you to be able to do is identify an appropriate unit of measure. So what I've done is broken this up into three categories: length, capacity, and mass. And then I give you, we only use certain ones under each category, and I'm giving you an example of what you would measure using that unit of measurement. All right, so let's take a look first at length. This is the most widely used. The smallest one is called the millimeter. The abbreviation is mm. A millimeter is about the thickness of a dime. So not the width of a dime, but the thickness of a dime. Very, very thin. Centimeter, cm, and that's on our rulers at school, is the width of a thumbnail. So if you think about a thumbnail, it's about that big. A meter, well, we know what a yardstick is. A meter is 1.1 yards. Okay, so you can think of a yardstick or the length of your leg. Another example is, you know where the door handle is on the door, from that down to the floor would be about a yard. And a kilometer, km, that's a little more than half a mile. All right, and the basic unit here is the meter. Capacity, that's liquid measurement. And we only use two measurements here under capacity. We use the milliliter, which is extremely tiny. You can think of it as using an eyedropper. It's about 5 drops from an eyedropper. And a liter, capital L, this is ml, this is capital L, and this is also just like our meter, this is our basic unit. Your basic unit only has one letter, has no prefix. So a liter is a little bit more than a quart of milk. A quart of milk is that tall, skinny milk container, not the big handle one with the, the jug, and not the half gallon that's a little bit wider and a little bit hard to hold. The quart is sometimes half and half or something like that might come in a quart container. And finally, we have mass. Mass, we have 3 units of measurement. We have an extremely small, the one in the middle, and extremely large. So the milligram, mg, notice everything that is small is milli, everything that is large is kilo. But the milligram, it's the mass, the weight of a speck of sand. So if you think about what sand is when you're at the beach, another example would be to take granular grains of sugar and kind of feel what they are like between your fingers. A gram is the mass of a paper clip. So it's a large paper clip too, not one of those small ones. That's about, and you could barely even feel it, but that's a gram. And then the kilogram is about half the mass of your math textbook is a kilogram. Okay, let's take a look next. Example 1, height of a classroom chalkboard. The height, what would it be? It's a meter. It's about, if you think about the length of your leg, a yardstick, it's about a meter. Mass of a backpack filled with books. Obviously, the only one that could be would be a kilogram. Capacity of a bird bath. You know, one of those that you might have in your yard. You're not going to fill that up with drops. That would be liters. All right, let's try a couple. The length of a broom. This one's a little bit tricky, actually. The length of a broom. I would measure this, believe it or not, in centimeters. Why would I use centimeters? A meter would be okay, but it's more than a meter, but it's not quite 2 meters. So unless you're going to say a fractional part, like 1.5 meters, that would be a good measurement. Or if you want to be really precise, you could use centimeters. The mass of an energy bar, the weight of an energy bar, one of those protein bars. That would be paper clips. What do you think? Not textbook, so that would be gram. Mass of a horse, okay, now that's heavy, definitely kilogram. And capacity of a car's gas tank. Now if you remember here, you only had 2 choices. Capacity is liquid measurement, milliliter or liter. Definitely liter. Okay. Let's look at example 2. Choose a reasonable estimate. Capacity of a juice box. A juice box. Would that be 200 milliliters? or 200 liters. Remember, a liter is like a quart of milk, and you're talking about a juice box. Definitely 200 milliliters. Most things that we drink, they're done in milliliters. Length of a new pencil, a brand new pencil, not one you sharpen down, 15 centimeters or 15 meters. Remember, centimeters, the width of your thumb, 15 centimeters. Mass of a small tube of toothpaste, one of those that you would travel with, 100 grams or 100 kilograms. That's the weight of 50 textbooks. No, definitely 100 grams. So let's try a couple. Distance between two cities, 50 millimeters or 50 kilometers. Obviously, 50 kilometers. Amount of liquid that an eyedropper holds. An eyedropper. Would that be 10 milliliters or 10 liters? And again, pretty obvious. It's an eyedropper. It's going to be milliliters. Okay. Now we're going to convert units, same way you do it in science class. Keep his desk messy, don't clean mine. And the prefixes, K is kilo, H is hecto, D is deca, and then D here is deci. So you have a D on either side. Everything on this side has the E sound because you're getting smaller, tiny. Okay, deci, centi, and milli. The letter you're going to use here is going to be the K, the H, D, A, and D. That's how you know which one's which. This is deca, centi, and milli. All right? Now going down for the messy, we can change that adjective into keep his desk great and then use the G for gram. Or we could say keep his desk, I don't know, little, likely, whatever. And that's going to use the letter L. So this is the basic unit for length, for mass, for capacity. And yet the chart stays exactly the same. All you're doing is changing the last letter in each one. Okay? When you move from this side to this side, you're going to the right. You're moving to a smaller unit. Therefore, you're going to need a lot more of those smaller units to make up a bigger unit. So you're multiplying by powers of 10. Each time you move, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Okay, so when you think about that, it's multiplying by powers of 10. All right? Likewise, if I have tiny units and I want to convert them to the larger unit, you're going to need less. So that's why when you're moving to the left on this, you're dividing by powers of 10. And again, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. Okay. So here's my basic chart that I put up here. Kilo, hecto, deca, meter, liter, gram, deci, centi, milli. All right, and I'm going to do a couple of conversions with you. Letter A, 4 and 3/500 liters. I want to know what is that in milliliters. Well, I'm starting at liters and I'm going to a smaller unit, 1, 2, 3. Or if you want to think about it, 10, 100, 1,000. You're going to multiply by 1,000, which 1,000 has 3 zeros, so you're going to move it 1, 2, 3 places. 1, 2, uh-oh. That's right, you added 0, and that's where your decimal point lands. Once again, you're moving the decimal point 3 places. You're not adding on 3 zeros. Look at letter B, 914 centimeters. Now I'm going to meters. So centimeters, and I'm going this way, 1, 2 to the left, which is division. Move your decimal point the same way. It's a whole number, so my decimal point's starting behind the number. I'm going to move it 1, 2 to the left. And 914 centimeters, when I convert it to the larger unit of meter, becomes 9 14/14 meters. All right, and then we can do a word problem. The height of Machu Picchu is 2,300 meters above sea level. What is the altitude in kilometers? Well, this is it in meters. I'm going to a larger unit. So remember, we're going 1, 2, 3 to the left. We go 1, 2, 3 to the left. 2 3/10. Try a couple. 35 milliliters to liters. 35 milliliters to liters. 1, 2, 3 to the left. So if I have the number 35, 1, 2, 3 to the left. 35 thousandths. Number 8. These are tricky. How many grams are there in 250 kilograms? If you need to, rewrite this. 250 kilograms equals how many grams? I think it's a lot easier to do it that way. So I'm going from kilograms to grams. 1, 2, 3 to the right. So you're going to go 250, 1, 2, 3 to the right. So it's 250,000 grams. And number 9, how many centimeters are there in 68 meters? Let's go the other way. Meters, you know you have 68 and you're going to centimeters. 1, 2, you're going to a smaller unit, so you're going to need to have more. 2 to the right. And number 10, the record for the highest a kite has flown is 3.8 kilometers. Find that height. Find the height of the kite in meters. So this is really what you're saying. 3.8 kilometers is how many meters? Okay, and again, you're going from kilometers to meters. 1, 2, 3 to the right. You're going to a smaller unit. 1, 2, 3 to the right. And there we are, 3,800. All right, good luck.